It's 1019 RXP, Matt Pinfield and Leslie Fram, The Rock Show, and we're speaking to Joan Jett.
Joan, we're so excited to talk to you about the movie The Runaways, and a big part of it is your manager, Kim Fowley, from those early days. And we've talked to Cherie Currie all week about Kim and basically how he ripped you guys off.
Now, Joan, I have to ask you, the time when you'd been on the road for about 2 years, was there a time when you actually came to the realization that Kim was not being completely honest when it came to the compensation for the records and touring that the band had done?
You know, to be perfectly honest about it, I really wasn't thinking about that part. It was really about the experience for me, and you know, I guess if I had been in a situation where I really had to make ends meet, I was making a little bit of money off of songwriting royalties, so I had a tiny bit of money in the bank, so I could pay my rent and things like that. If it had been more difficult, then I'm sure those questions would have come up. But since I was kind of living my dream, I was in a band, I was on the road, I was playing with all these incredible other bands that we got to meet and play with, and so that wasn't really foremost on my mind, you know, not really why I got into a band to really make a lot of money anyway. But, yeah, I guess there was definitely a point when some of the other girls started to bring it up, and, you know, you did recognize that we weren't really getting paid.
Were you ever intimidated by Kim Fowley?
You know, I was never intimidated by Kim. I find him to be very humorous. He's pretty different from most people, so I think a lot of people are kind of put off and afraid of him, but I'm very amused by him. My mother would spend hours on the phone with him, talking to him. So, you know, it's kind of hard to get off the phone once you're on.
That's true. He's a very entertaining guy, though. He is, absolutely.
Totally. And he's done everything. I mean, he's really got quite the history in the music business.
Thank you so much, Joan. We're going to have more with Joan Jett tomorrow and her manager, Kenny Laguna, talking about the movie, which opens tomorrow, The Runaways. 1019 RXP.
1019 RXP, it's Matt and Leslie, The Rock Show, and we're speaking to Joan Jett because the Runaways movie opens today.
Hey, Joan, what did you do to prepare Kristen Stewart to play you in the movie? I mean, did she have a lot of questions?
Well, yeah, she didn't have tons of questions. I mean, there would be certain spots where she would have a specific thing to ask me, but for the most part, I talked at her, you know, especially early on. When we first met, she came up to see us do a show on New Year's Eve, and I really just kind of dumped on her for like hours about the Runaways and why it was important to me and what I was trying to do and why I thought it was so important to play guitar and how people responded to us and any little details that I could think of, things that I wouldn't tell anybody else. And then she went off to do New Moon, and I burned her all the Runaways CDs, the studio ones, plus I burned her a bunch of bootlegs that I found from the Cleveland Agora, but also some Hollywood shows, the Whiskey Go-Go, the Starwood, which is long gone. I gave her a tape of me when I was 14. I had this chunk of tape that I gave her to listen to my accent, because I had sort of a Maryland, Pennsylvania accent. And she wanted all this stuff to study it, and she was always watching me and I studying my posture and just my idiosyncrasies, I guess. And I really respected her work ethic, that she took it so seriously. She wanted to get it right and be authentic, and you know, because I guess she felt that I'm a living person, you know. She felt that a real responsibility to the rock fans, you know, to the Runaways fans, to my fans. I mean, she put an extraordinary amount of pressure on her own self. Because of the pressure she was putting on herself, I thought someone with this kind of work ethic, I can really respect it, because we were so much alike, just in real life, just the way we move through space, our energy. So I was very confident, and she didn't let me down. I thought she did a really incredible job.
I thought she did a great job, and I also thought Dakota Fanning did a really great job playing Cherie.
Everyone did. They really did, and they didn't have a lot of time to get what they needed to get either, which even makes the task that much more impressive.
We'll be speaking more to Joan Jett all next week. Remember, the Runaways movie opens nationwide today. You're listening to Rock Show with Matt and Leslie on 101.9 RXP.